Which what?
even
Sam
though we're in
Adams?
Summit.
Summit. All right. I've got an Oktoberfest or two in the fridge.
Oh, I got tweeted out.
Yeah, man, go ahead. Let me see. Oh, my AirPods.
Dude, I can't get my AirPods to not. I don't have a volume control on my AirPods on my computer. I don't get it.
Oh, really? Let me see.
I don't know what to do. Share broadcast. New tweet.
Much needed win. Much needed win.
Much needed win.
Russ is in. We don't know where, but you know where. Oh, W. Yes. Yes. Yes.
W's in the chat. W's in the chat.
W's in the chat, man.
That was a good one.
Would have come in a little bit. All right, man.
81 points too, man.
Yeah. 81 points for no offense. That's crazy. Well, we'll get into that. Let me play the little intro, you know. I'm trying to find it. Still has Nolan Smith. So don't say nothing, everybody.
Nobody outside of Kentucky cares about that rivalry.
Exactly.
Who cares about
wins 2015 or 2010, and everybody is saying 2015. So
just got back up here, Durham, a couple days ago. So been in the gym a little bit. Me and Joey been in the gym working out together.
As Duke fans, as Duke coaches, you know, but I get excited over there, even in my suit, I'm grabbing Coach Tyler's leg, like.
The long part always makes me laugh. Shout out to everybody. We back. Game episode 2 of the season. Big win. Duke beats Ohio State. First ranked victory of the year for Duke. Top 25 victory for Duke. Big resume builder. What else? Nothing or whatever. Russ, I'm here with Russ Ryan. Get us started.
What up?
Get us started. What's your thoughts?
Ryan, you want to go? You want me to go?
You go first, man. Sorry, you go first. I'm checking out. I'm pulling up stuff here.
Yeah, first of all, big shout out Library Ale House, Santa Monica, California. That's where I'm coming to you live from. So we didn't do a show after the PK85. I was there in person for all of those games, and obviously just watched this one. I do think it's clear that we have, even despite some of the things that went right today, some offensive issues. I don't think I'm telling tales out of school there. I am stunned that teams don't zone us. I'm really surprised. I know that we shot the ball pretty well in limited attempts today. I think that's the strategy, right? That's what we want to do. We want to shoot 75 to 80% of our shots inside, if not a higher percentage. And then that way, the looks we get from outside will be clean. We can make a high percentage of them. Bing, bang, boom. Win, 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 right? I can't believe teams don't zone us. Ohio State made a huge mistake in not zoning us tonight, I think. Zed Key, I'm annoyed by that guy. I don't want to see him again. I'm done with him, dude. Like Big Ten Bonzi Colson. I don't want any part of him. You know what I mean? No part. I think Ohio State's a pretty good team. I don't know that they'll end the year better than Xavier, but they're on the same tier for sure. It was a really important win for us, especially at home. It's Ohio State's first road game. It's just a spot where you have to win if you want to even entertain the possibility of a top 3 seed in the NCAA tournament. We took care of business. The biggest takeaway for me, I don't know what the stats were. It's pretty tiny on my phone, I've got to admit. Oh, Jesus, now I'm like leaning in. Holy shit. Lively's play tonight. I mean, I've obviously been defending Lively on my Twitter for a week or two because the defensive impact is so apparent. I mean, even if on the occasional one-on-one play, somebody gets him because he bites for a block. Like, okay, the same thing did happen to Mark Williams, though, right? Like, but the impact that he's having, while not Mark Williams level, like you see the pieces for that role, right? The weak side shot blocking is tremendous. Just the fact that he's big and takes up space is really good. He's pretty mobile on the perimeter when he gets on to switches. I mean, he can hold his own there pretty good. This is not a good look for me. I apologize. This is a really bad angle. Holy
Pretty
Lord.
hard angles, man.
It's a wild angle, dude. Yeah, Zion's going to screen cap this and put it up later. Jesus Christ. Anyway, the point being, good win. We shook the Purdue game off. It's exactly what we needed. Still some questions to answer, but you just got to take care of business in a game like this. That's what we did.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I agree with you there. They're taking care of business. It was a bounce back win. I think things are looking a lot more grim if we lose this one. The thing I agree with the Lively thing. I don't really understand the hate for Lively throughout the first 2 weeks of him being back and playing. It didn't make much sense to me, especially for a guy with as much potential as him.
He doesn't play offense, Ryan. He doesn't post up in the post like Ryan Young. What's his footwork like? Who gives a shit, dude? He's 7'1" with like a 7 bajillion wingspan. He can catch lobs, dunk it. He can set picks. He can roll. Shut up.
And that's so true. And you see it when there's proper spacing on the floor. He does have an offensive game to an extent. It's not like a post or a back to the basket game, but when there is proper spacing on the floor, when we're not running two bigs out there, you see what Lively can do with space in a driving, slashing guard or wing like Roach did tonight. And that's where I think my biggest thing is with Derek. It's tough right now. I don't want to say my concern level is going higher, but we're not seeing the right Derek yet. And I think Shire alluded to the fact that he only played a week worth of 5-on-5 before jumping into game time, compared to all of these other freshmen and guys in the team had weeks and months leading up to the season. So I don't think we're going to see peak Derek until the turn of the calendar. So once Derek gets back, I think this offense opens up so much. You move Mitchell to the 4 and in certain lineups, and you have Derek who can slash and open up some more and better shooters, and it creates more space for Lively. So I'm looking forward to that. But tonight was a team that I think you nailed it, Russ. You have to beat probably like a 6 to 8 to 9 seed come tournament time. So just a good test for a young team, and I think they were up for the challenge. So it was good. It was good. It was fun. And 81 points for an offense that we kind of have ragged on here for good reason. That's a positive for me.
Yeah, I think the biggest positive for me, I get the positive out the way because I got some negatives to speak about too. But free throw shooting, we are an elite free throw shooting team. Like, especially when you go into a team, we have a team that has 2. I don't know how many free throws Ryan Young has taken, but he's shooting over 80%. Flip came into this game shooting 85% from the line. When you have that, and then I think you can trust the guards to make free throws as well. You're always going to be in a good position in March, especially a team like Duke that's going to get calls. We know Duke is going to get. Look at this man Russ. He's just showing people our live midstream. But yeah, I think
he also went to Duke. He's okay. Fair. He's okay.
Shout out to him. I was very happy with Derek Lively tonight. I think a lot of Derek Lively. I tweeted it last game. And you can't be blaming him for that. I know he's not Bagley. He's not Carter. He really doesn't, you can't just throw him the ball and get him a bucket. Jaleel, all those guys. That's not his game. But he's 7'1", and athletic, can jump out the roof. We got to start trying to get him involved. So I think a lot of his 0-point games, 2-point games, you got to you can blame him, but you also have to blame his team. You have to blame Shire. People get mad at me saying that. You gotta blame Shire a little bit because you got to get him involved. They got him involved tonight, and he had a good impact. So I was really happy with that. But the offense tonight, man. I know we scored 81.
Second half offense, really.
Second half offense, a lot of free throw.
I mean, but we scored almost the same amount of points, maybe a little bit less in the first half. It's just it was generated in a very different way, right? Second half was more efficient scoring. First half, we did score a pretty surprising amount.
We did score 39. Never mind.
Yeah, just a lot of it came off of turnovers and just scrapping,
Yeah. And I think, the biggest thing for me is how long are we going with Mark Mitchell at the 3? How long are we going with Mark Mitchell at the 3? Because
I think you're going with it as long as Derek is doing what he's doing, right? Like that has to be the reason.
I don't even think you can do that because I said it even coming into the season. I was like, where even after those 2 games Mark Mitchell had to start the year, I was kind of like, oh, look at this guy. I was kind of like, are we sure about Mark Mitchell at the 3? Because the shooting is going to be bad, and the shooting has been bad all year. I mean, we're into the year, shortly into the year, but the shooting is bad, and it doesn't help when Mark Mitchell is sitting at the 3-point line most of the game because that's not even his game. He needs to have a path to the rim when he catches the ball, and even when he catches the ball and drives into the rim, he's driving into either Ryan Young or Derek Lively or Flip on the post. So, like, how long can we go with Mark Mitchell at the 3?
What's funny is he's actually our best 3-point percentage shooter on the team right now.
That's crazy. If there was ever if there was ever a numbers lie situation, this is it right here. But
yeah, 100%. He only takes 2 a game, but I agree, and I hope it's the case. Is when Derek comes back, he moves to the 4, and his role is probably going to diminish a little bit because you're going to have Flip out there as well as he's played. There's no reason to take Flip off the floor, so it'll be Roach, Proctor, Derek, Flip, Lively. It's not like you're taking Flip out at this point, so I don't know how much burn Mitchell's going to get at that. I mean, he'll get his 20 to 25 minutes, but I don't think you're going to be seeing him as much as you are right now, for better or for worse.
But that's even the thing. I don't even want to say, like, I'm not saying Mark Mitchell's playing bad tonight. He struggled tonight.
No,
I just don't think he fits at the 3. And then you have Flip. Flip is a constant. Flip is not going anywhere. He's been our best player. Mm-hmm. And Lively just played like that tonight. So is Mark going to go to the bench at this point?
Yeah, I mean,
yeah.
The biggest problem right now, like, that's not even my biggest question. My biggest question is who's going to defend wings, right? Because like Mark, he'd been doing all right so far, but like Justice Suing was getting whatever he wanted, right? Just like top to bottom, whatever he wanted. Mark couldn't do anything with him, but it's not like Derek could do anything with him either. Not at this point, right? So like until Whitehead is showing more consistently, I don't know what choice what the alternate lineup is. Like Proctor at the 3? Like Grandison was also getting destroyed by wings also. I mean, I guess he can shoot, right? But so that's something. But yeah, I don't know what the better option is, frankly. I think you kind of just have to ride this thing out until Derek is ready. And then when Derek is ready, yeah, you make the sub. I would. But I still kind of suspect that unless Whitehead really shows a lot of propensity for defending threes in an elite sort of way, we're still going to see a lot of Mitchell at the 3 because he is probably our best option defensively there, which is crazy, but it's true.
Right now, he is our leaky black, which I think he's much.
No.
That's what he is.
What? No, dude. No.
The reason I say that is because.
Did we watch the same game, bro?
The reason I say that is because of how he fits with the lineup. Leaky last year, Leaky's actually still well too. But Leaky last year, Mr. Brady Manic. Oh, Russ, you're a little loud. Leaky last year next to Brady Manic. Brady Manic kind of it fits the flip role as he can shoot outside, and then Baycott is the inside, got to score. People left him open from 3, and he didn't provide much because he didn't have a path to the lane to drive. I see him in that sense where he's really just being used for his defense. I don't think they're comparable in the way they play, but more so the role they're playing in the lineup.
I mean, I agree, except for the fact that Mark was not good defensively tonight. I mean, God bless him. Again, he's our best option. And he's got a lot of upside. He's making his threes. I'm not complaining about Mitchell's play, but just if you're going to have a guy out there, and also Leaky passes the ball really well. I'd like to see Mark do more of that. Maybe we're starting to see him whip it a little bit.
There's no offense. He can't.
I understand, but if you're not passing and your shot looks flat and you're not defensively really getting it done, hesitate to say we can use him the same way that UNC uses Leaky Black because yeah.
Let's just not compare him to a UNC player, first of all, and second of all.
Sure, period, right.
My bad.
Yeah, and we don't need to keep them relevant in our show, but there was a question that came up here, and it's not for me, but I just wanted to ask it to you guys. On this roll, it's from Ross Gold 20 or 88. Who's a better fit on this team, Grandison or Joey Baker?
Grandison.
Yeah, I would take Grandison right now, even though he's not making his baskets at the rate that we would like, but like, yeah, I think he's more versatile. He definitely, even though defensively he does get burned, he doesn't get like Joey burned, you know. And I just like the upside there. I mean, we saw that he can play a role last year at Illinois. I think he can do some of that. I tweeted about it too. I don't think Grandison's really a 3 either. I think he is kind of a small ball 4. He's the guy that in a perfect world, he's playing a Brady Manic-esque type of role on a team because that's what he wants to do. He wants to be in the corner.
I thought you were going the other way.
I know. Well, the role is the same though, not the size of it, but like they want to put him in the corner.
We're back to comparing Duke with UNC guys again.
All right. Well then forget that. Okay, then compare him to an unnamed player who likes to sit in the corner, make threes, and defends an opposing team's 4. Right? That is what Grandison, the role on any team that Grandison in theory should be playing. It's what he played at Illinois, and so it's interesting to see him sort of trying to play the 3 here. I like what he brings to the table more than Joey. Yeah, maybe the continuity is a point for Joey, but like. He also didn't play too many minutes, so yeah, I don't know. I'd go with Grandison.
Yeah, and I like the leaders. I think Grandison coming from the Big Ten, playing in a harder. I mean, I the question I just thought was interesting because they're kind of the same-ish player. Both can't really defend. Joey a little bit more erratic and can't. If Joey dribble drives, like that possession is already chalked, but. No, I like Grandison. Upside is better there.
Grandison is he's a much better passer too. I want to throw that out there. Grandison's a much better passer.
He's not big enough to defend. He's not big enough to defend even at the 3. I don't think. Like his body is not meant to do that. So
Grandison is guarding. I don't know where Russ got this notion that he could guard 4. He can't guard 4.
No,
it's what he played last year. It's what he did for Illinois. He did that.
But Russ, he played with Kofi Cockburn.
I understand this year, in theory, he'd be playing with somebody that's 7 foot tall also.
No. I understand Kofi Cockburn is 7 foot 260, block shots, and
he's a big man. I get it. I'm not saying that the role should be exactly the same. I'm saying that what made Grandison so effective last year was playing at the 4. That's what I'm saying. And the reason why I would say maybe guarding 4s more than 3s is because you are more likely to encounter a guy who's maybe going to be a little more stagnant, maybe a little less fleet of foot at the 4 than at the 3. I think the fleetness of foot is really where he gets killed. I know that sometimes he gets hurt by the size of the other guy as well. But again, that's where ideally you would have a big man back there to do some degree of helping. Not a Kofi level one, granted, right? But like, yeah, again, it doesn't matter. This is all semantics at the end of the day. I would still have Grandison above Baker. I think he's a more complete player. And he showed some really good flashes today of what he can provide, at least offensively for the team.
Okay. Yeah.
Let's go to the one that everybody's hitting on right away. Probably the most polarizing player on Duke right now, which is favorite, Ryan Young. So Ryan, let me hear your just tonight and overall thoughts on Ryan Young, because I feel like you tend to be in the majority with Duke fans, and you want to see as little of Ryan Young as possible. So I want to hear your take on Ryan Young experiment so far.
I don't think I'm even in the majority, because people message me, people DM me, they've been in my message saying, "Why you hate Ryan Young so much?" Listen, Ryan Young played solid minutes today. I'm not gonna say, Ryan Young, he's killing our team. We can't win with him. But there's a lot of things he does that does take away, I think, from our growth. Number one, the post, the fact that he has to play in the post there was a part in the first half that we just continuously gave him the ball for 3 straight possessions. Nobody was moving. Give him the ball, nobody moves. He's just gonna make a move. That to me is killing our team because we can't score anyway. So now we're having an offensive possession where we're not getting anything from it, but a ISO play, which he can get a bucket. I'm not gonna say he can't get a bucket, but we're not building any rhythm. We're not building any offense from it. But another thing too is I don't think he can be playing for 20 minutes, 22 minutes, 20 minutes, 25 minutes. We should limit that, cut that to 12, 13, and use the other minutes to go small. We don't play small ball. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why are we sticking to 2 big lineups? Like, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I know it's early in the season. People are going to yell at me, oh, Shire's figuring out his team. But it just doesn't make sense when a lot of the problems we have are because the paint is too clogged. I posted 2 screenshots today. There was 3 people in the paint when Flip had the ball. And the 2 people outside on the perimeter, Jalen Blakes and Mark Mitchell. Who's shooting the ball from there? So, like, I just don't see
our leading 3-point percentage player, Mark Mitchell.
Nailed it.
I just don't get. I understand he's getting offensive rebounds. He's doing stuff to win the game. I just don't think he's doing stuff to help the team reach their potential.
I would counter that by saying the one thing that he is doing in some respects in some of these games is he is helping the team win down the stretch. I mean, and in that respect, it's going to be hard for us to reach our potential if we're like a 6 seed in the tournament. You know what I mean? Like, there's only so much, even if everybody comes in and by March and is healthy and whatever, it's just a much, much harder path if you're a really low seed. And so some of the contributions to winning that he has made, even as somebody who agrees with basically everything you're saying, I do want to see us go small more. That's a given. I'm the captain of the small ball ship. I love small ball. You know what I mean? And yeah, he clogs the paint. He definitely does. He's a ball stopper to some extent on offense. Again, if his post work and his footwork are really good, I understand why he wants to go. And I understand why Shire wants to give him the ball and let him go when we just need an easy one. But it doesn't move the ball as much. It doesn't help the perimeter come along. It doesn't help develop some of the shot creators that we have. Yeah, I mean, I agree with everything you're saying, with the exception of the fact that I have been very impressed down the stretch with his toughness, with his energy. I think he sets a tone. And certainly that one rebound he got where the other guy was just trying to box him out from underneath, and he just kind of jumped on top of the guy's back to grab the ball. I mean, hey, you know what? He's out there fighting. You know what I mean? I'll take that. We need guys who can fight on this team, because going back to the offense question, I don't want to leave it, but just to touch on it, I do think that this team probably should be planning on winning by playing offense that is built from their defense. Our defense is just so good. I think we can run more. I think we can get easy buckets more. And I think that we can apply more pressure. I think if we can do some of that, then the buckets will be easier because they'll be open, they'll be in transition, they'll be chaotic. I think we need to thrive on that rather than these very slow sets where somebody dribbles the air out of the ball until the 5-second mark.
Yeah,
before you go to that point, that's another thing I wanted to say was we don't play fast. We have a team to play fast, and we don't run. I hate to say UNC. I hate to say UNC again, but UNC has historically
they run
a program where they score, they run off makes, they run off misses. We should be doing the same thing.
Yes.
Guys who can run, except when we put Ryan Young in the game. Now we got to play slow because we got to set up the offense for him to get the ball in the post. That's just the thing that bothers me. But go ahead, Ryan.
No, you're right. And without having the number in front of me, I would be willing to bet that we're 280th or lower in the country in tempo. We play a very slow tempo with a team full of guys that can absolutely run. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what the deal is there. Maybe it's turnover concerns because we had coughed it up when trying to run in transition some. We've shown a propensity to play sloppy when we speed up. Maybe he's trying to simplify it a little bit, I guess. It's just not what I would do, but I'm also not the coach of a D1 high major school like Duke. So what the hell do I know?
Yeah. He's like the classic big man that we're not used to, but I disagree with everything you said, right? Like you didn't hit anything that you were lying about. He clogs the paint, the ball or the movement slows down when he's in. Like those are all complete facts, but he's one of those guys where he makes 3 plays and everybody absolutely loves him. But as soon as he screws up and follows Zed Key for an end one 2 times in a row, everyone wants him out of the game and asks why is he still out there and why is he playing so much?
Not really. But yeah, Zion, put the comment back. Put that comment back up that said we can't run because there's too many big guys on the floor. Yeah, I disagree with that.
Yeah,
Flip can run. Lively can run. We can 100% run with big men on the floor. Ryan just can't run. That's all.
This Ryan,
which isn't
Ryan.
Which overall isn't. Yeah, which isn't a bad thing technically, because if you have 4 guys that can run and 1 can't, that's what most teams are like. So it's not a terrible thing, but it limits you in the half-court offense. If you have a guy, if he was our biggest guy and our next biggest guy was 6'7", I don't think it would be as much of an issue. But when he's always playing alongside Flip, which he kind of has to be if we want offensive threats out there, it creates a lot of issues for Flip on that side, especially when he catches the ball in the paint. So I love Ryan Young. I think he fits a role on this team. He's just going to be a guy all year long that is going to make some good plays, and he's going to make some plays that you're just scratching your head about. Maybe not even making plays. He's going to commit fouls, and he's going to be in lineups that you're not going to want. But I still go back to and I'm going to go back to it until it doesn't happen, that if Dariq Whitehead comes back, I think you see less of Ryan Young lineups. You're going to see more of Flip at or Mitchell at the 4, and a more free-flowing offense, just because of the fact that Dariq can be a guy who can slash and dish or dump off to Lively, because he's going to draw double teams when he goes in there with how athletic he is and how good he can finish at the rim. So I think we're seeing a lot of Young right now. I think the minutes will cut back a little bit come January and February. I don't think you're going to get back to 12, Zion. I'm sorry. You're probably going to get to more like 15 to 18, but
here's the
I don't think we're going back to 12.
Is crazy. I don't think 12 is crazy, because if Lively gets to the player we think he could be, and Dariq gets the player we think he could be, that's automatically cutting into the minutes. And guys we see that Shire loves Blake's. Blake's is going to be playing the whole season, and Blake's has been good defensively. So I'm not going to say he's kind of giving us that goal wire where offensively, he'll make a few passes, he'll make a couple mistakes. He's not a threat offensively. So he's
got confidence. The confidence in his he believes in himself on the offensive side.
He's better than Goldwire offensively.
100%. Well, that's not saying much. Well, senior Goldwire was pretty good. Well, solid enough. But I think by default we'll lose those minutes. But I did see a funny comment.
I don't think we lose. I agree that Ryan should be an in case of emergency break glass kind of guy, like 9th player off the bench kind of guy. Not 9th player off the bench, 9th player in the rotation kind of guy. But we're playing a lot of Flip and Roach. Like, we're playing a lot of Roach without Flip or Lively. I just don't know that if Whitehead is getting a lot of minutes, that means by necessity that Young loses minutes. Like, at least down to 12. It does seem like he has Shire's trust. And so I suspect that we will see him 18 to 20 minutes per game the rest of the way. I suspect it. I'm not saying it's what I would do.
We're not speaking that into our lives. We are not speaking that into our lives.
Hey, if he can make plays all game like he made at the end of the game tonight, I'd be happy.
I'm not happy. I need to see us play small run. But I did see a comment from shout out Jay Hurst on Twitter. He says Shire didn't play fast. He's coaching these boys like 2010.
It's true.
It's a great point. That's an underrated point that I never really thought about. That he never really played on teams that broke out like that. It's not his style, really.
By the way, all these people who are like Derek Lively never plays offense. You know who else didn't really play offense? Zubek.
Zubek. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Nobody
like the
cared.
only one. It's like a cop out comparison, but that's like exactly who he reminds me of. And
Miles Plumlee didn't either. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
Miles Plumlee didn't really do much. I mean, shit,
No.
Marshall didn't do much,
Marshall didn't.
Right?
Right.
right? I mean, like I have said for years, I would be happy if we just have a guy down low who can occupy space, do some pick and roll. If he can pop, that's even better, right? Like that's all I want. I don't need a 25 point per game center. Like I need a guy who is good at what he does. I need a Clint Capella type. That's what I want. That's all I need.
Right.
Yeah. And I think I think Ryan Young right now is at just under 21 minutes per game. And I still think getting it down to 12 from Shire's standpoint is going to be a stretch because I think, like you alluded to, Russ, Shire loves Ryan Young. And I think he has a reason to because of that leadership. And you can see the fire when he's out there. He plays with a lot of energy, and it goes a long way with the young guys. And especially Krausen. Did you hear Cameron when he got that offensive rebound late in the game? Cameron exploded. So, like, fan favorite plus, like, not captain, but leadership mentality, and just the fact that I'm not going to say he can go get a bucket, but like he's not just bricks with his feet and can't move down there. Like there's a reason he's seeing minutes and will continue to see 15 to 18 minutes a game for the rest of the season. I think
He can get a bucket. Can somebody get my man a decongestant?
Cool.
You know what I mean?
Ryan,
Ryan, he seems like he's breathing out his mouth the whole
He
game.
does. Yeah, I noticed that.
Like he's always turning
God.
around like
yeah.
he's always turning around making that face, you know what I mean? It's like I want my man to get a Claritin. That's all I want, you know? Like just
You
help
got to
him
start
out.
calling him
Clear-
Young because I thought you were throwing shots at my voice. I was like, I don't
No.
think I sound that bad, but
No,
All
you
right.
sound fine, but my boy Ryan Young is a little like this.
Oh.
You know?
yeah.
I got one.
I love
I got one question for y'all because it really surprised me during the game. I'll tweet it too. I didn't know Jaden shot 17 threes in one game. I don't know. I don't know why that was like the biggest thing that jumped out to me. But should Jaden Schutt be playing or getting any minutes? Or get a chance.
Since our
Take.
team is built on defensive identity right now, my answer would be no. Like, and also it's not like he didn't have some opportunities in the preseason and in like some of those mid-major games to show that he could come out and just like go 3 for 3, right? Like have one of those nights. You know, I think that if he was ready to come in right away, guns blazing, we'd see him. And so I'm inclined to say no. I think we'll see him in whatever mid-major games we have left, or in some of these lower tier. Like we'll see like 25 minutes of him against Louisville. You know, I don't want anyone yelling at me on Twitter about that. But like, you know, I'm just saying.
Wow.
So yeah, I think we're fine.
Ryan, what did you think?
No, from what I've been told, is he's a defensive liability. Just from people who watched him more in high school, I don't think there. I think with the 9 that we have going, I don't think he has the defensive ability to replace a Grandison or definitely not a Blake's, and he's not taking minutes from Proctor or Roach. So like, I think if Blake's wouldn't have made that huge step that he has, he'd probably more of shoot. But I don't think there's as much of like, I get it, we're not shooting the ball very well, but I don't think it's like at the point where we need to throw the towel in and say, all right, shoot, you're going to come in and give us 15 minutes a game and just every time we get the ball, shoot it. I don't think we're there yet. So
Here's the thing, though.
Thing.
Here's the thing with my view on it. Number one, we're not defending the perimeter very well anyway. Besides, I think Blake's and Roach have been pretty good. Grandison has had his struggles. Marcus obviously had his struggles. But in a game like tonight, I do think if we're on the road, it's a little bit different story. I think we lucked out a little bit tonight. McNeil had some looks that could have been
a lot of looks
that could have been backbreakers. And I think there's going to be a lot of points this season where we're like, yo, we've seen it. We've seen it in Kansas game, Purdue game. We don't hit shots from 3 when we need them. So how long can we go with that? Not having a shooter on the floor.
I think that the goal is to hope that some of these players that we believe should be shooters, like Flip's percentages from 3 right now are not good. Like Grandison's percentages from three are not good. I know Whitehead's more of a volume guy, but his percentages must be very not good. Proctor
His shoot was at 20% before in his 3 games he's played. I don't know the amount.
That's not fair.
What total?
He plays like in 2 minutes and he gets one shot off.
Right.
I know. I'm just saying.
I mean, that's the Joey Baker defense too. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't think we're struggling defensively on the perimeter. Let's be perfectly clear to Josh Alston. I think Roach is not awesome, but he's doing fine. And Proctor, I think, is a good defender on the perimeter. Like he's not sexy, but he stays in front of his guy. He's got good disruptive hands. You rarely catch him like leaving a guy to cheat for a steal. I think Proctor is really good defensively on the perimeter. I think if you replace and Jalen Blakes is obviously very good on the perimeter defensively. I think if you replace Blakes or Proctor with shoot and you have like a Roach shoot lineup at any point, now that is a big problem. That's a huge drop off defensively, in my opinion. Big problem, right? And I just don't think like at the 3 he's helping. So yeah, it's a weird lineup fit for him because you really have to play him over Proctor or Blakes, and I just don't know how you can do it.
Yeah, and I would say from a Roach standpoint, or from just the other guard standpoint, I think it's there for Proctor. I don't think he was came in as like a knockdown shooter, but he's got the form. He gets open looks a lot tonight. He obviously, I think it was 2 for 3, so not a lot of volume there, but I think there's a really good opportunity for this team to improve, especially when Derek back at full strength. I know it's like kind of like my cop out right now, but like once this team continues to get more and more open looks, Derek's a good shooter. Roach is decent. He's shooting 32%, which is what he shot on his career. So it's not. There's not. I think we're gonna. You know what you're gonna get with Roach from that standpoint, but I think with Proctor and Derek knocking it down, then obviously you have our leading 3-point percentage shooter, Mark Mitchell, who's going to continue to do that all year long.
Everyone said Jalen Blake's 3-point shooting was real too. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
That died in 2 games.
Yeah, the flattest shot in the world coming from Mark Mitchell. But no, I think obviously we were like 316th, I think, in 3-point shooting coming into tonight, and obviously it's a concern. But I think the tools are there with Derek, with Proctor, and with Roach possibly improving a little bit. I don't think it's going to be, hopefully not going to be a huge problem come February or March.
Dude, the bigger problem for me isn't even the 3-point percentages. It's the 2-point percentages. Like we had like 200, we were like 240th, 250th coming into this game from 2-point percentage, which for a team of our size is absolutely ridiculous, obviously. Right? Like that's the thing. Like I think 3s will come and go from game to game, right? But like 2s, we need to be a highly efficient 2-point percentage offense. And right now we are not. And it's because, and we saw this a lot, I tweeted about this during PK85, we don't get easy shots. We did tonight to some extent. We got some easy shots tonight. But the Purdue game was such a great microcosm of the thing, right? Like Purdue gets easy shots, Duke gets hard shots. Like that's what's going on right now, and that's why we got the breaks beaten off of us. So we have to find easier shots, and that goes back to my point of we got to find them through the defense. I think defense can create easy offense. I'm watching Indiana put some defense to easy offense points on UNC right now. I don't know who this white guy is who's screaming a lot and dunking, but he's a lot of fun, right? Like so, there's some fun stuff if you can make the defense turn to early offense or easy offense. But yeah, if we're playing slow, then we have to score efficiently from 2 in the half court, which we just haven't done consistently yet.
Yeah, and I just to go off your point here, and Zion, you can jump in there, is we only have 3 players shooting over 50% from 2 so far this year, and that's Derek Lively, Ryan Young, and Jacob Granderson are the only. We have people or 2 players with Mark Mitchell.
And Granderson's volume must be so low too. Granderson's volume is
1.8 attempts per game. Ryan Young 4.5, and Derek 2. But yeah, you're right. Like you can't have your own a guy like basically anybody. You can't have that many people below 500 as a 2-point shooting team. And expect to win a lot of games against good defensive teams.
Yeah, Flip has to be a little bit more efficient, but I think that's why I tweeted it. I can't wait till March or February because as the season goes on, he's going to start taking better shots, simplifying his game.
100%.
So,
Well, if somebody else can carry the burden of creating shots, then that'll help. A lot of his issue right now is having to do so much shot creation, which as a 7-footer from the perimeter is really hard, and he's doing an incredible job of it, all things considered. But Jeremy's shot creation so far has not been great this year. I mean, we can say that. And Whitehead's not ready. So like who are our shot creators if not Flip right now? Like we don't like Proctor at least gets to his spots pretty good, but has not been like making them consistently enough. You know, we need more consistent shot creation, and then I think Flip can simplify the game some, do fewer of those dribble drives from the outside, or at least he'll have more space on those rather than being so crowded and resulting in turnovers. I don't know what his turnover percentage is, but I bet Flip is also probably turning the ball over a little too much. We saw that from Paolo last year some too, right? Until he started to like, yeah. So Flip right now, if he's carrying that high a usage, is just not going to shoot 50% from two. We've got to find guys who can provide a bit of relief.
And I got one more question. Jeremy Roach, how would you assess Jeremy Roach so far this year?
Ryan, you go first.
I knew that was coming. I made a dumb comment in that first show of the year. I'll give you that.
You did.
But
you
I
did.
think. Well, yeah, but I was. We won't get into that. my mindset wasn't the great. Anyways, I think Roach is playing not up to the expectations that everybody had for him, but I don't think he's far off. He's had some really good games. I think it was the Xavier game that he dropped over 20 points like that. I don't think he need to drop 20 some points every night, but being a little bit more consistent, being a little bit more in control with the ball. I think I would love to look what his turnover rate is compared to last year in March. Would be interesting. Shooting wise, he hasn't improved at all. I already acknowledged that from the 3-point line. Absolutely. And then same from free throw percentage. I don't think, real quick, free throw percentage, he's shooting, oh my God. Yeah. 68%. Like that's not improving at all. So from like an overall standpoint, is
he our worst free throw shooter right now?
Of our starters, Blake's is the ninth. He's eighth. So, yeah, like I don't think he's taken that like jump or continued that March fire that he had last year. But he played great in March last year, statistically wise. I don't think it was anything like crazy. So I don't think he's up to the expectations that everybody had to him. But I think he can still get there. Like he's shown signs of it.
What's your grade? What are you giving him? I see people giving grades in the chat: C+, C-.
Oh shoot, man! If you go based off expectations, I'd say like a B-. I think C's a little hard, even though Russ is going to get there maybe. I think from the expectation wise, probably C+, B-. But from like an overall what we need out of him, probably a C+. Yeah.
Well, the whole problem is the expectation, right? Like, I think it's a lot easier for you to play loose and make some good plays down the stretch if you're like our fourth option, you know, and a lot of people are expecting him, and he probably expects himself to be the first overall option. Like I said coming into the year on a podcast with Zion, I just wasn't convinced that we wanted that or that we needed that. I was kind of concerned this summer that if maybe his play wasn't consistently like it was when he was at his hottest, that we would be having these conversations come November, December. You know, I think we need him to be Quinn Cook. I think that's all we need him to be. I don't need him to be the guy who makes every play. I don't need him to be the guy who's creating in shot creation, is dribbling until 8 seconds left in the shot clock and then going. I want him to be the guy who's moving the ball, who's helping, who, despite not being big, is playing feisty defense. Right now, I think you could maybe say the feistiness appears here and there on that end. And he's got to shoot the ball the way Quinn Cook shoot the ball, and that hadn't happened yet, right? So, yeah, I mean, in terms of expectations for what like everybody had, the grade would definitely be unkind. I think in terms of the grade that we should give him in terms of what his role needs to be, which is Quinn Cook, yeah, like C somewhere in there, you know?
Yeah. Quinn Cook's, I think, a lofty, maybe from a stat standpoint, it's not that lofty, but from like an impact standpoint, it's kind of lofty. If Jeremy Roach could get to 39 to 40% from three, I think it'd be a huge difference maker for this team,
That's
which is
not
where
bad.
Quinn ended his last year.
It'd be nice, but that's not happening.
Yeah, that's a big jump. And that's the thing. Quinn Cook was always a shooter. So he always had that to his name, even though he had his struggles as a point guard. But I don't think Roach has that. But I don't know.
But that's the thing. Like you want him to become Quinn Cook, and from a stat standpoint, he's far off that right now. Like especially in Quinn's senior year, Quinn averaged 15. He had and he shot 39% or almost 40% from three and 53% from two. So like I think that like that's like absolute ceiling maybe next year for Roach, but like this year I think that's even far fetched.
Yeah. We'll see. It's
What
a
about
long
you?
season.
What's your grade?
I give him a B minus just because I give him the benefit of a doubt. It's a new situation. It's a new team, so he has to learn his teammates first. And I give him the benefit of the doubt. Even with this last week or so, he's now been kind of switched roles to being more off the ball, a lot more. So I mean, it worked against Xavier. He had a terrific game, put the team on his back. So I give him a B minus. Maybe a little generous, but I think it's a long season, so I give him until mid ACC play to kind of see what Jeremy Roach are we going to get this year. So I still believe him.
And hey, ACC play starts 4 days from today.
Yeah, what 4 days?
Wow, man! Saturday, 3 days. Sorry,
Saturday. Yeah. Saturday in college. That should be a blowout. The ACC is trash this year. Louisville, you're gonna get whacked.
I can't believe we're gonna win the ACC challenge potentially.
Yeah, if we're trash, what's the Big Ten then?
They had not lost like a single bad non-conference game so far, including in all the like multi-team events that happened over Feast Week. They'd not lost a single bad game. Any team in the Big Ten, and now we've got Michigan State getting the breaks beat off them by Notre Dame. Northwestern lost to Pitt in some Duke-on-Duke crime, which means we might have two Duke coaches on the unemployment line this summer instead of one. I think Capel might have just danced on Collins's grave a little bit. But yeah,
a little bit.
Yeah, there's some wild stuff. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, we'll beat the Big Ten. I guess. I mean, there's no way Notre Dame blows it at Michigan State. Famous last words. But yeah, if they close it out, then I think the ACC beats the Big Ten, which is insane. If the over/under had been 4 wins, I would have taken the under.
Listen. All these people saying we beat.
That's
Big
true,
Ten.
and also fuck the ACC Big Ten challenge.
Right, yeah,
Yes.
bro. Stop all this.
Get out of here.
Last night, I only care about Duke.
We're not Arkansas chanting for SEC at the end of a game. That was the saddest thing I've ever seen.
I want to see all the ACC teams. I don't care.
There were some Duke fans in my comments going like, "No, we need to have ACC pride." No, dude, we don't. We don't, dude. Not at all.
Pride is crazy.
Before we go here, I know we're gonna wrap this up.
I'm not from Mississippi, dude.
I want to give a shout out to a friend of the show, Wendell Moore. First NBA start tonight, and he balled out, but he played really well. He's at 7 points, and I got the game on right now. He's not. It's in crunch time, so he's not playing at the moment. But he had 7 points, 3 of 6 shooting, and according to Timberwolves media, I follow closely, he was playing really well tonight and impressed.
Nice.
So shout out to Dell.
Shout out
Amazing
to Jake. Shout out to Jay Gold, also playing for the Spurs G League team.
Oh wow.
Oh man. Heck yeah, man.
Random shout outs, man. Come on, now, stop it.
I love it.
Man, I dig it. I dig it. Go Jay Gold.
I guess on that note, I guess since the few people that are in here, Nolan Smith said stop tagging him on Twitter or stop talking about him on Twitter. I got a text today that you should stop talking about Nolan Smith. So anybody who's been tweeting about Nolan Smith, just stop. That's the show. Appreciate y'all. We'll be back next week. Hopefully after.
See y'all.
Goodbye.